Hello, you lovely ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mangs, and I'm wishing you all a happy new year to Advance Wars fans all over the globe. I'm hoping that 2026 will give us something new and exciting in the Advanced Wars scene. And if nothing else, we always have the good old reliable replay commentaries that I know you guys all love. So I thought I'd bring in the new year with a really cool match that I played a few days ago. So, usually around the holidays, for a limited amount of time, the devs at Advance Wars by Web will allow you to queue up as a Tier 0 CO on the Live League. Not for rated games, mind you, just for fun, but it does produce some absolutely hilarious games, because the Tier 0 COs are not typically seen in normal play. And the matchup that I have to offer you today is a pretty cool one. It is me playing as Kanbei, and my opponent playing as Hachi. Now, most of you guys are going to see this and you're going to go, well, Hachi's obviously going to win. He's way stronger than Kanbei, but not so quick, actually. Yes, it is true that Hachi is one of the biggest monsters out there, but he does require somewhat of an economy to be scary, and he also likes lots and lots of contested cities. So the bigger the map, the better it is for Hachi. This map that we're playing on today is a little bit on the smaller end. So Kanbei, with his bonuses, will be able to bully his opponent really hard from the get-go. I actually really like playing Kanbei in Standard in these Tier 0 matches. He's a lot of fun to play because it's really up to you to be as aggressive as possible in the beginning. You can't really keep up with Hachi long-term because he just snowballs out of control after a while. However, in Live League, or in live games, there is a 30-day limit, which means that Hachi's snowball potential is a little limited. 30 days is still a long time, but it's not like the match will go on forever. Hachi gets progressively stronger as the game progresses, but he needs to actually try and capture some properties before day 30. If he just sits back and play defensive, he'll just lose, right? But there's another thing also going against Hachi's favor in Live League, and that's the fact that we're playing on increment, 2 minutes per turn. So we start out with 5 minutes on the clock, and then we get 2 minutes per turn. For Hachi, this can be very scary because when he pops his Merchant Union, he'll need to deploy 20 to 30 units in a single turn, and then the next turn he has to move them all. And this is not always easy if you're not the fastest player in the world, so I've seen Hachi players often fall victim to increment and just starting to play worse. They don't really get to use all their units. Meanwhile, Kanbei, he can easily fight against Hachi, even 2 to 1. He can still fight while greatly outnumbered. But I'd say Kanbei's victory condition here is to try and get an early income lead and sit on it for as long as possible. Every city that he can deny Hachi is super crucial because when Hachi pops the superpower, every city becomes a base. So every city denied is a base denied, essentially, and that is huge. So Kanbei needs to take the lead early on. If he doesn't, he's dead. If Hachi is allowed to snowball too far, then it is GG. So I'm telling you guys, this match is crazy. You definitely want to be watching it. If there's one match you're going to watch in 2026, this is it. I had so much fun with this one. The map that we're playing on is called Timbuktu's Edge, and it's a relatively simple map. It's not the biggest. It's a 2-base map with an airport. You have these black boats right here guarding the HQs, so they can't just be conquered. You need to build an artillery or kill them with battlecopters or neo-tanks first, which can take a little bit. You got relatively contested comm towers in the center right here, protected by towers, so it's not super easy for infantry to get at them or other vehicles. But the comm towers certainly can flip. You also got harbors right here. I kind of wish both players started with an additional black boat so you could actually utilize these shoals right here. You can build one, but on 2-base maps like this, you don't really have the economy to spend on a black boat. At least not Kanbei. Hachi might do it. And there's just lots of terrain here. Lots of forests, lots of missile silos, lots of mountains. There's always places to park your vehicles, which is very good for me. Because, of course, one of the things that makes Kanbei so strong is when he combines his innate defense with terrain. You know, once a Kanbei tank is plopped down on a city, that thing has 60% extra defense, which is just bonkers. So Kanbei wants to try and, as I said, he wants to try and take as many cities as possible and deny as many cities from Hachi, or at the very least try to block them with his own units before Merchant Union comes in. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I say we jump into this match. I am super excited to show it off. Let's go! Alright, so I'm playing as Kanbei in the yellow trunks up in the top left. My opponent, not a person, is an unrated guy. I don't know if he's an alt or whatnot. As Hachi in the red trunks. Let's get started. Now, I do love the ability to move units at the same time in the replay viewer right now. Really, really nice for getting the capture phase off the ground, because I never find the capture phase to be super interesting. You know, you can say things about it, but I don't usually say things about it. But I open up with a tank, as does my opponent. Of course, here's the thing. Doesn't matter if your tank is cheaper, that Kanbei tank is going to murder this Hachi tank. So, whatever you do, you need to at least outnumber Kanbei 2-to-1 with that tank. Otherwise, you're going to have a really bad time. My opponent builds an artillery, and I actually don't mind artillery first against Kanbei. You certainly want the help of indirect units against Kanbei. That is important. You also want to be careful, because this is a 2-base map, which means you don't have as many infantry to put in front of your indirects. So it's going to be harder to keep that thing alive. But my opponent moves out the artillery as well. And yeah, he goes pretty crazy here. I can kind of see the strategy, because Hachi definitely wants a fair share of indirects in his army to be able to deal with Kanbei. But I think going 3 RD is a little insane. He's basically trying to stall this game out, because he knows that the longer the game goes on, the more it's going to favor him. So he's going for a super stally opener with 3 RD. He's going to try and just kind of lock down the areas, but I think he's going a little too far here. He's conceding a lot of momentum by not opening up tanks. He's giving me a lot of control. And I'm not sure if this guy is super used to playing against Kanbei, because he did something else that was a little dubious. He built a Battlecopter, which I do agree with. Battlecopters are very good in this format, because it forces me to build a super expensive anti-air unit. But he actually attacks me. He attacks my tank one-on-one. And yeah, this is what happens when you attack a Kanbei tank. You take more damage than you deal. Maybe if he had his comb tower... Maybe if he had his comb tower, it would have been a little bit less painful for him. So if we did this, if he has a comb tower, then yeah, it's still not great. He takes 4, he takes 4, deals 4. But yeah, attacking Kanbei head-on like this just is not a good idea. So my opponent definitely blundered a little bit there. And of course, I immediately just pick off the tank. That's Kanbei for you. However, even though I am strong in this early game, and my units are ridiculously strong, that does not mean I can sit idly by and chill. Because again, as I said, every turn that goes by, my opponent gets a little stronger. Every merchant union that he pops is going to be a little bit more terrifying. And this is actually a very good move on his part, and I agree with this. He techs up immediately to a medium tank. Very strong. As Hachi, your strength lies not in numbers, at least not early on, but in your strength to tech up. It's the same thing with Colin. People always think that Colin and Hachi are like, they swarm their opponents with weak units. For Hachi, that is true, but for Colin, it is not. But their strength actually lies in being able to tech up early, being able to build those expensive units early. And as Kanbei, my tanks are not going to do crap to his medium tanks, so this is actually a very good opener for him. And I was sweating a little bit when I saw this medium tank, because for me, the medium tank is 19,600. It is almost the price of a Neo tank, so it's very hard for me to keep up with this teching. But here, I decide to actually apply a little bit of pressure to his com tower. I realized that as Kanbei, because I have such an early lead, I have such an early map presence, there's very little Hachi can do to bully me at this point, I should try and take his com tower away from him. That way, I ensure that he deals as little damage to me as possible, while also keeping my own firepower relatively high. So I am actually willing to forgo a building or two if it means I can take his com tower away from him. And you can see I'm very brazen here. I'm directly like attacking into his artillery range because, again, I just have so much defense. I feel confident doing this, and here he actually attacks me instead of capturing, which is fine, I guess. But you can see he's already setting up like his wall of stall, as I like to call it. And once again, he techs up to a Neo tank, which fantastic by him. Kanbei Neotanks, I think they're like 26,000 or something. So they are insanely expensive. And if I'm gonna get a Neotank, I will need to base skip a lot. Or at least like just build infantry, which is annoying. So as Hachi, you want to be as annoying as possible. You want to out-tech, you want to build Neotanks, you want to build Battlecopters, you want to force Kanbei to build expensive anti-air. Just really bully him as much as possible, because he's certainly going to bully you. And here I actually attack his infantry right here. He's still going to be able to interrupt this if he wants. And he goes in with the medium tank, and look at that, hardly deals damage. Neotank coming in as well. And he's actually sacking his Battlecopter here to deal a little bit of damage to my tank, which I kind of disagree with, because he's not going to destroy my anti-air with a single artillery barrage, so I think this is a little bit of a risky move on his end. He did build a tank to cover, so I guess it's not that bad. But I actually decided to build some Battlecopters here, and I probably shouldn't have done this. I think the idea behind the Battlecopters is I'm saving up for a Neotank, but I wasn't able to get it, so I have to build a medium tank instead. Kanbei Battlecopters, like air units in general for Kanbei, is not really what he's good at, and the reason why is quite simple. Kanbei air units are not that durable. Anti-air will still shred them, as you can see. Even with one comm tower, they almost one-shot the Battlecopters. This is because, of course, air units can never have defense. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it says one defense star here, they don't benefit from it. So, anti-air still shreds Kanbei Battlecopters, and so all they really have is just the extra firepower. They're essentially Grim Battlecopters, in a sense. So you don't really want a large majority of your army to be air units. It's actually a problem. This is a thing I did wrong in this battle. I think I built too many I built the third Battlecopter, which is just too much. I really should have been focusing on ground units. But I do get to take out his artillery, and this is why I love playing Kanbei. In any other situation, you would have lost this tank right here to this Neo, but because I'm Kanbei, he's not capable of destroying my tank, which means I can pull it back for repair and maintain somewhat of a unit advantage right here. I also decided to do a joint camp to ensure that I get this comm tower. If I take this comm tower, I am confident that my opponent will never take it back, because I am Kanbei. And here, you can see I'm able to take down his Battlecopter, and even if he shoots back at me with his artillery, look at that. It hardly deals damage, man. And once I take over his comm tower, he's going to deal even less damage to me. Another thing I love with Kanbei right here, these infantry are practically unkillable in the mountains. Like, they are just not going to die. If you try to attack them with infantry of your own, look at that. Hardly 2 HP of damage. So, I love Kanbei, man. He's a lot of fun. His units just never die. He gets a couple of really good shots at me this turn. He tries to injure my tanks, but it's just not happening. Defense is just too strong. And here on day 12, I actually contemplated popping my my normal power. It's pretty bad. It just gives you like 20% extra firepower and 10% extra defense. It's super bad. But it can sometimes be useful if you want to break through some walls and kill some units. But I decided against it. Samurai Spirit is just so much better. But I was contemplating, if I had popped it, I would have reduced this anti-air possibly down to 4 HP, which would have made it a lot worse against the Battlecopter. But I decided against it. I really wanted to try and attack this Neotank. I'm actually kind of sad I didn't pop Moral Boost. I think this actually could have gone a lot better had I done so. But I decided against it. But now I'm threatening even more captures. And you can see I have a pretty insane capture advantage now. I just flipped the comm towers. I have 2 comm towers right now. He has 0. And I'm about to, I'm almost reaching the capture limit right here of 26. If I do that, it's an instant win. So, yeah. I am absolutely dominating the capture game, and my economy is so much better. I can finally produce a Neotank of my own right here. But my opponent has been able to bank up some money from the last turn. He has 34k in the bank. Not the best merchant union I've ever seen, but he has to do something, because if he doesn't produce units soon, he is going to fall very, very far behind. So let's see what he decides to build. He builds a bomber, a tank, a medium tank, and then infantry, mechs. I personally think I would have built a black boat just to help ferry infantry to the front lines. Hachi can build black boats for like, what, 3,005. I'd say it's worth it, honestly. Like a single black boat, just to get a bunch of infantry to the front lines. I think I would have given him a big capture advantage had he done so. But as you can see, Hachi's army value is now crazy good. This is a Hachi that's, what, 8 properties behind, and he's still he still outvalues me. And another little thing about Hachi's power that a lot of people don't think about is that whenever it's active, his units are treated as being worth 50% less. So when you destroy them, they're worth far less power charge. So, however, I know I'm not going to get Samurai Spirit this turn, so I'm content with just kind of stalling it out a little bit. I pull back. I'm not going to run headfirst into the Hachi meat grinder. But I do know that I have a Samurai Spirit ready any moment soon, and if I combine that with a couple of captures, that could be really, really bad for him. So here, day 14 rolls in, and you can see that the Hachi wall is starting to form here with the artillery and stuff. And I have to do something. If I don't do anything, then, you know, I'm in trouble. So what I decided to do is I start moving forward with my infantry, and I just kind of start taking pot shot at his infantry. I know I'm probably going to lose my infantry doing this, but I need to start damaging his walls so I can get at the vehicles in the back. And my infantry are still pretty damn strong. Keep in mind, my opponent has no comm towers, so obviously he's going to start shooting back. The bomber's going to come in as well. It's going to be very annoying. And a lot of my infantry take damage right now. But my Samurai Spirit is finally ready, and I decide to pop it. I have to be aggressive. So this is what Samurai Spirit is. Actually, I keep forgetting its values. So it is a 20% firepower bonus and a 30% defense bonus. Yes, it's a lot more defensive than offensive. In fact, his moral boost on the Samurai Spirit. Actually, wait, what? Moral boost gives more firepower than Samurai Spirit? I guess it does. Huh, I didn't know that, actually. Yeah, Moral Boost sets firepower to 60%, whereas Samurai Spirit sets it to plus 50%. So, Moral Boost is actually stronger offensively than Samurai Spirit. But of course, the whole point of Samurai Spirit is that 60% defense and the increased counterattack damage. That means that he's not going to take any engagements in close combat. So, and this is also why I wanted to pop Samurai Spirit. I go for 2 caps this turn. These infantry, by the way, right now, they have a 80% extra defense. So it's going to be ridiculously difficult for him to dislodge this. Just look what happens if he tries to take an engagement with infantry. Yeah, he just gets wiped out, right? Even like medium tanks just don't do anything. So here, I move forward. I can even ignore anti-air with my battlecopters. That's how insane it is. And I'm able to like take down both of his artillery, which I'm pretty happy about. And yeah, I just go massive, hyper-aggressive, just pushing in as much as I can. He's not going to deal any damage to me this turn. Bomber hardly dealing damage. He is able to interrupt the caps, which is good for him. But he has to commit a lot of his resources into attacking my capturing infantry, who are just not budging. So this is a pretty good turn from me, I'd say. Problem is right now, my opponent is feeling confident enough to bank up some money. So look, he's banked up 38k, and he's going to have his merchant union probably next turn. So here, I have one thing that I need to do. I need to block properties as much as possible. I'm also target firing his anti-air because I have some battlecopters, and I'd like them to have free reign to move around. So I think maybe he played a little too recklessly with his anti-air right now, because he only has a single one over here. And this is what I was talking about. This is why I putting battlecopters on top of cities is very smart, because now this city can produce. I wasn't able to dislodge this tank, which is a bit sad, but at least it's one less base that he can use on the front lines. Now, here, this was not the greatest move that I could have made right here. Oh no, actually, this battlecopter wasn't in range. Otherwise, I think it probably would have been better to put it on the city, but of course, it wasn't in range. I guess this is probably the best thing that I could have done. So I have to build another anti-air because I'm suspecting that he's probably going to build another battlecopter this turn. And a medium tank. And yeah, look at this 53k merchant union. Sure, I have 23 properties to his 15, and I have 2 comm towers. It's looking real good for me. But just you wait. The Hachi war economy is going to start churning into full gear very soon, guys. You can never count Hachi out. You can never count Hachi out. The longer the game goes on, the more scary he becomes. If you have not established your advantage early on, you are going to be in trouble. Now, I do want you to pay attention to one thing, and that is my opponent's time. He's at 4 minutes right now to my 12. Hard to play Hachi in Live League. You got so many things to do. Keep paying attention to that. So he builds an anti-air and 2 mega tanks. And what the hell am I supposed to do against those? Right? What can I do? Like, as long as those things are in terrain, my Neo-tanks cannot touch them. If they're out in the open, I can do something. If he places them on, like, a road, then it's starting to look better for me. If I can, like, pop a power. Also, I think my dossier is wrong, because Moral Boost does, in fact, not increase firepower. So this is wrong. I think it is actually 50% on both of them. My bad. Misinformation on Meng's channel. Who would have thought? More anti-air, more Neo-tanks. Oh my goodness. More infantry. And suddenly, my man's sitting at 170k. Yeah, this is starting to get scary, man. Like, yeah, I have a big lead in terms of economy, but it doesn't matter, man. Hachi is just so scary. And now I have to kind of, like, move around his mega tanks. But I'm not letting up the aggression. I still want to try and damage him as much as I can. If mega tanks are all he has, I can maneuver around them. I do need to be a little bit careful so I don't get my Neo tank trapped here, though. And here, I'm taking a lot of losses here. I'm probably being a little bit reckless here. And I get my Neo-tank surrounded, which is not great. That is a very valuable Neo-tank right there. I do not want to play... I do not want to get that thing destroyed. So I use my battlecopter to burst him out. I take down the anti-air once again to ensure that my battlecopters can have free reign. He built a little too little anti-air, I think, because I was always able to, like, focus fire his anti-air down. And the battlecopters are very important because they actually prevent this mega tank from moving down here and killing the Neo tank. So he should probably be building a fighter soon. And I almost get Samurai Spirit this turn, but I decided not to pop it. But he needs to be very vigilant about interrupting my caps right now, because 3 more properties and I will win the game outright. So, but you can tell, man, like, Hachi is ridiculous. There are now 2 mega tanks and there's really nothing I can do about him. I pop Samurai Spirit. Now, if I can catch them out in the open, I might be able to do something, but I'm still probably not going to go head-to-head with those things. They're a little too scary still. But I sure as hell can continue to go for captures and try to prevent... And here I actually decide to start blasting down his black boat. I wish I had more infantry around here. I only have a 7 HP infantry here. But if this black boat falls, I can start applying pressure to his HQ. And if I pop a Samurai Spirit plus HQ cap, then that's probably GG. So I'm just deciding to try and go for it. I also built a bomber. I'm not very happy with this buy. As I said, I don't like Kanbei bombers or Kanbei air units in general. They can't benefit from terrain. They're just very expensive, and I'm not a big fan of it personally. I built way too many air units in this battle. Way too many air units. I should have had a lot more vehicles. I think my rationale was, well, there's mega tanks, so I need to have a bomber to deal with them, but I should have just saved up for a mega tank of my own, I think. Kanbei mega tank will never die, so... But looks like another merchant union is coming in. He's probably going to save up money again, and that's exactly what he does. 34k in the bank. I continue to deal damage to his black boat. And again, if I just had like 1 healthy infantry here, this would have been so much scarier. I probably shouldn't have even gone for this engagement right here. That was kind of dumb. But my bomber is coming in. We're in day 20, by the way, so 10 days left. I build another bomber. Again, way too many air units. I don't know why I kept building so many air units. I think the idea was I needed infantry count to capture or to try and contest captures. But yeah, here comes another merchant union. My opponent, though, has 2 minutes left on the timer. So he is definitely struggling right now. And he's able to get some cities. I'm still blocking like 2 of his cities over here and his harbor. But he's still able to get most of them out there. He builds a fighter, which I definitely agree with, and a bunch of anti-air. He might have gone a little bit too hard on it, honestly. But yeah, he actually runs out of time this turn. I think he... I don't know if he was able to move all of his units. But here, I am slowly starting to realize that I actually don't need to keep up the aggression. What I need to do now is just hold on to my properties. If I can hold on to my properties for 9 more days, or at the very least limit his capture, then I should be okay. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing over here. Now, this HQ is not going to fall. So here, I'm starting to sweat a little bit because, yeah, Hachi's starting to snowball. He's starting to snowball. He's already ahead of me in unit count and army value, despite being, what, 9 properties behind me? 8 properties behind. So I pop my Samurai Spirit. Get a pretty satisfying hit in on that Mega Tank. And I know I won't be able to die this turn, but I also won't be able to make any captures, which is kind of annoying. And here it starts to dawn on me that I need more vehicles. I start building tanks. Day 22. My opponent is still on 15 properties, but there are 8 days left of this battle. And Hachi is starting to spiral out of control right now. Another merchant union is coming in. He saved up some money. And here you can see I'm systematically starting to attack infantry. This is called Scorch Earth. It is something you start doing when the timer starts ticking down and you know that the match is going to end soon. You focus all your firepower on damaging enemy infantry. This way, you limit their capture potential and stall out, hopefully obtaining a victory in the process. But you can see my opponent is actually combining units, which is very smart. You want to do that before a merchant union because your money is worth more when you combine. And here comes a 47k merchant union, 2 mega tanks, APC, Neo tank, anti-air, tons of infantry. The APC I actually like. That's a smart move. And suddenly, things are starting to look pretty scary for me. I got 15 units. And most of my units are air units, which are not that good. He's got 3 mega tanks. They might be slow, but the dreaded Hachi March is about to start, ladies and gentlemen. And now he's moving forward. Now, one thing, I think he's not doing a great job shielding his infantry. He actually needs to protect his infantry at all costs now, because they are super important units. But already, he's starting to apply pressure across the map. The Hachi War Machine cannot be stopped. I think he times out again. So he needs to be careful. If you time out too many times, I think you actually lose the match. But you can see, once again, I don't care about any of his vehicles. I am just systematically targeting infantry at this point. It's all I care about. Just target fire infantry. I just need to hold the line for 5 more days. I build recons for this very purpose. And I just have my bomber on standby, ready to attack an infantry. That's all they're here to do. It's all they're here to do. And I know I won't be able to hold on. I know that it's just a matter of time before Hachi overruns me in both the north and the south. I cannot keep him delayed indefinitely. I do have a Samurai Spirit, and that's going to be an important one for sure. But you can see, once again, just I am sacking units left, right, and center just to attack vehicles. Or sorry, just to attack infantry. And here, I'm actually saving up a lot of money now. What could I possibly want to spend that money on? I think some of you may know. Because Hachi moves forward, and he's now capturing properties all over the map. Kanbei is holding on heroically, but it's not going to last. Because Hachi will just outnumber him. My turn rolls in. I activate Samurai Spirit. I think this might have been a little premature. I could have probably held on to this a little longer, because I'm not going to take that many engagements here. But I am able to kill the infantry, and then I build... Da-da-da-da! I've got my battleship, ladies and gentlemen. That's like 36k. But this battleship does 2 things beautifully. It covers this property right here on 512, and this property here on 313. As long as this battleship is here, it should be able to interrupt at least one of these. And if I can attack the other, then I should at least keep these properties safe. Day 27, ladies and gentlemen. Another merchant union is closing in. I have 18 to 26 units. And once again, he's using that APC to ferry units forward. And now I've lost all momentum in both the north and the south. Now, this is a defense mission, ladies and gentlemen. This is a defense mission. Objective, survive. My fighter is so beefy, man. Look at that. But look at all those infantry coming my way. Day 28. And again, just attacking infantry. Just attacking infantry as long as possible. But I do gain a small victory right here. He foolishly leaves this property unguarded. So, and there's nothing he can do to interrupt this now. So this property on 1008 is actually going to play a huge role in this. And he has absolutely no way to dislodge that battleship. So that battleship is just going to keep... And I actually decide to build a cruiser. This is a little ballsy. This is actually a BM cruiser. I'm looking at the time right here. I am fairly confident that I have this covered. So I build a cruiser to BM him. Because I'm like, yeah, I got this covered. Of course, then he pops Merchant Union. He pops Merchant Union and he starts wiping out a bunch of my units. And he goes for 3 captures. He goes for 3 captures. He builds a carrier. I thought this was a BM carrier at first, but I actually think it had a purpose to shoot down my battlecopter. This might have been a slight BM battleship. And I'm like, oh, wait. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm looking at the map right now, and I'm like, wait, did I fuck up? Is he gonna actually be able to Urk a draw out here? I build a submarine, and once again, I'm thinking to myself, maybe I BM too much, man. Because he captures, and he equalizes to 1820. Now he just needs to capture 1 more property. And I realized, oh my goodness, I'm not gonna be able to interrupt this city down here at 014. So I pop my moral boosts. And I'm not able to get it. And Hachi equalizes. He equalizes 1919. And I remember thinking to myself, I am the dumbest player ever. I literally fumbled my way to a draw. But of course, here's the little secret. I actually didn't fumble my way to a draw. Because, ladies and gentlemen, even though the replay viewer is a little bit glitchy, I ended up winning the match anyway. Now, why? Why did I end up winning the match, you may ask? We have the same amount of properties. Well, ladies and gentlemen. I have a com tower over him. In ties, when it comes to ties, labs and com towers will actually break ties. And such, I am able to win this, despite fumbling away this final property here and thinking that I just robbed myself out of a victory. Because I have a com tower over him, I take the win. And thus I ended up winning this match. Now, I think my opponent made a lot of mistakes in this game. But I think I definitely underestimated Hachi's war machine. Like, I thought I had this like won. But then he started just snowballing, and you can see how scary Hachi gets. If this game didn't have a timer, I'm confident that Hachi would have won eventually. Because you can see just how he escalates, and he was able to actually win some ground and get some properties back, but because of the 30-day limit, and of course because of the increment, I was able to just eke out a win barely, so... Bit of a silly match, certainly not a high-level match, but a fun one, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. And yeah, I haven't been very good with user-submitted replays, but if you do send me some to mangsawbwreplays@gmail.com, linked in the video description, I'm going to try and cast some more submitted games. So, yeah. Happy New Year, guys. Here's for another year of Advanced Wars. Toodaloo.